Hello, and welcome to episode 23 of 20 Minutes, titled Toxic Positivity and Censorship. I think possibly the most important episode I'm trying to do of this, because being able to speak freely and express yourself is one of the most important freedoms you can have. There's a reason that the very first amendment in the Bill of Rights is the right to assembly and freedom of speech. Because without that, what freedom do you have? Basically none. If you can't express yourself, then there is no freedom, right? As far as I can tell. Because anything you do is speech, basically. You're speaking with actions, right? Actions speak louder than words, as the saying goes. So, every action you take is speaking. So, there's that. What I want to say about this is I always lose track of things when I start recording and try to talk. It's so much easier to go through these things in my mind and come up with the great ideas I want to express. So, it really bothers me the culture. I think really bothers me the culture around speech and expression. There's this fear of words, of expression, this fear to express yourself. And I guess it's the fear of the repercussions of being silenced, and it's one of the major repercussions there. Maybe I'm lost on the recording here, the visual aspect of it, which I shouldn't be. The trying to there's just this whole blob of things to say around this, and I don't know how to unravel that into intelligible speech. Of course, as I went through the ideas thinking about this video, I had all sorts of great things to say and piece together. And of course, I could write those out in an outline in order to better express myself here. But I don't so much like using those external aids, because what if the power goes out? What if I type out everything I want to say and then the power goes out and then I don't have it? Or what if my computer fries? And of course, what if I get hit by a meteor and then I just die, or I get brain damage and can't speak, or whatever, any number of things that could happen to prevent me from expressing myself. And of course, there is something preventing me from expressing myself, and that's this culture of toxic positivity and this fear of words. I think there was a book series that dealt with this. So you may know it, the Harry Potter series, where people are afraid to speak the name of this guy, he who shall not be named. And we have in our culture a bunch of words that shall not be spoken. And why is that? From my point of view, it seems to be fear. Fear of what? There's a lot of aspects to this. One of them, I think possibly with the best credibility, level of logic to it, is to not corrupt the younglings. You don't curse around the children because you don't want them to pick up on that and use those and adopt those words. Which could kind of make sense, but I don't. And of course, I do this myself. I don't cuss around children. And I don't cuss around people who are like 15 or 16. People who are still barely children, right? But I don't think there's not much logic to that, I don't think. Not that I understand. Maybe someone can teach me about that. But, and the reason I say that is these curse words are often replaced by other words in order to express the same feeling. In first grade, I was playing on the playground, and there was another kid, and anytime something went wrong for him, he would scream or shout or forcefully say the word applesauce. And he meant it he said it in order to express dissatisfaction in the same way someone might use the S word or the F word or any number of curse words. And I'm not going to say them in this video because I'm going to embrace that toxic positivity where everything is good and nothing can go bad and you can't use any curse words unless you're in private, but there is no privacy. And what I'm trying to express here is the way I see people in this society who can't handle words. And you know what's worse than hearing a curse word? Dying. Being bombed in another country. Okay? You know what happens all the time in this world? People die because our country bombs them. People die all the time. And I think, I don't know, maybe this is an unpopular opinion. I think being killed is a lot worse than hearing some naughty words, okay? But somehow our culture embraces this killing and supports it even, and says, oh yeah, good job, we got him. We killed the insurgents. And what did they do? And, oh jeez, there's this, yeah. I don't want to delve too much into that, besides the fact that people are killed every day. And I think that's a lot worse than hearing any number of words. Now, there are probably people who disagree with me. There are probably people who think their ideas so bad that they should never be expressed. And maybe they're right in some respect. I often not often, but sometimes wonder about nuclear bombs, okay? Or, some level of some device of mass destruction. I heard an idea about how we might be doomed if all you needed to do to make a nuclear bomb was like put a sponge in a microwave for 20 minutes or whatever, and then it blew up the size of a bomb the size of. And see, even speaking these words, these are probably key words the algorithm will pick up on, and then I'll get silenced and censored for just trying to express these ideas. Not that I support it. I don't support violence at all. Like, hardly even in self-defense, because I think if you're able to incapacitate them rather than committing violence so as to kill them, that you should aim for that instead. Like, there's this higher level of morality in being able to disarm your opponent and let them live and learn compared to just blowing them up. there's some higher level to be achieved here. And of course, that leads me to this dystopian idea of, one second here, I apologize. This leads me to the idea of Big Brother in 1984, where the system is so sophisticated that they do capture and turn Winston to support Big Brother, and he embraces it at the end of the story. And that's that's the end point for that book. I was going to say dystopian nightmare, but it doesn't end there. It goes on for way longer than that, I'm sure. And then they capture your well, I don't want to say capture, replicate your consciousness, or replicate your being. This is my adding on to it with the technology we have today, where so you get captured in like full body scan, and they replicate every atom in your body, not just every atom, even at levels smaller than that. Say they clone you, and then against your will, they have a copy of you to do their bidding for however long their power reigns. So it can be much worse than just embracing Big Brother for the rest of your life. It can get much worse than that, and I can envision even worse stuff than that, which I don't want to delve so much into. I want to stick to the topic I stated at the beginning as the title of this episode: toxic positivity and censorship. And let's go a bit on the censorship level, where one specific grievance I have is online. People now get shadow banned. And what I mean like a specific type of shadow banning, not just being barred from appearing on search results. I mean to the level where you may post something online and you think other people can see it, but they can't. Only you can see it on your account, and you see that you posted it, but nobody else can see it because it's been shadow banned, shadow blocked. And you're not informed of this. You don't know. I actually experienced this in a game, RuneScape, where what I apparently got shadow banned for was stating my preferred pronoun. And I'm not going to state it here because I don't want to risk any banning here as well, because I think that Google might embrace the same authoritarian idea about it. Granted, YouTube has been a lot more supportive of free speech and freedom of speech, but it's gotten worse over the years, and now they're cracking down on it hardcore. And now if you speak anything against, if you even question orthodoxy, you're banned. If you speak questions, you're banned. Socrates would not make it in today's age. He would be exiled and assassinated like Julian Assange. The system would eat him up and spit him out in a month. And that begs the question, where are the Socrateses of today? Well, they get eaten up and chewed out by the system. They conform because everything's against them. It takes a lot of courage to speak up and question authority. And doing so often results in monetary loss. And what do you need to live in the system? Some form of money. And if you got to a level where you have enough money to not be worried about whether your source of income is cut off, then you're probably in support of the system. You're not going to question authority because you are the authority. And you're probably not going to question yourself. Maybe somewhat, because you can't really... Well, maybe you can, I don't know, because I haven't achieved the super high levels of success or whatever. But I think you probably have to have some level of self-questioning and analyzation and not self-doubt. Whatever. And there's this... Back to the the censorship of curse words. I don't get it. Like, if you watch news reports and they're too afraid to even to restate a curse word someone else said. So if they're doing a report on whatever bad thing that happened, and there's some evidence in the form of a message or an idea or a statement, whatever, say a text message, okay, between people, and they're like, oh yeah, this hazing party went poorly, and this kid died from over drinking alcohol. And they're like, we got the text of his frat members who are texting each other. And they're too afraid to even state the F word to express what they said. And there's this implication, like it was one news report I watched recently that's on my mind. And they, instead of the F word, which is probably what they said, they're like, blah, 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 expletive, blah, 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 expletive, we're expletive, expletive, that type of thing. They're online, where they're not, I guess, not legally barred from saying these things. They're too afraid to even restate what was said in order to learn from. And that's part of why I think this is bad, is because how are you supposed to learn from it if you can't even analyze the thing that's supposed to be learned from? It's just so bad that you can't even speak it, you can't analyze it, nothing. That's how bad it is. That's how bad these words are. And I've missed a lot of what I want to say here. But I'm at the last 2 minutes, and I need to wrap up with some sort of thesis statement on toxic positivity and censorship. On the toxic positivity end, it really bothers me that you're like you're not allowed to express dissatisfaction or negativity. And I don't know. Here's an idea that I don't know whether it's true or not. I know. See, now I'm even afraid to speak here on this. These are some powerful people here, but the idea of whether or not there can be good without bad, like the if whatever level of positivity you want to reach, will there be an equal level of negativity as an equal opposite reaction? I don't know whether that's true or not, whether or not you can have a net positive, or if it's I think the idea is if it's a zero-sum game. I'm not sure I'm using that idea correctly. Anyways, I think people who embrace this toxic positivity and censorship are incompetent, cowardly fools. If you support censorship, you're a coward, okay? End of story. Goodbye. Thank you for watching.